For millennia, long before the rise of today's major world religions, humanity sought to understand its place in the cosmos through a diverse tapestry of beliefs and practices now broadly termed paganism. This report explores the rich history of these traditions, tracing their ancient origins, their suppression with the advent of monotheism, their quiet transformation, and their modern revival. The roots of paganism stretch back into the depths of prehistory. Long before written records, early humans expressed spiritual inclinations. The belief in an afterlife is suggested by intentional burials with grave goods dating back tens of thousands of years. Early spiritual practices were often animistic, centered on the belief that spirits inhabit the natural world. This reverence for nature saw divinity in everything from animals and plants to rivers and mountains. As civilizations emerged, so did complex pantheons of deities, each reflecting the values and worldview of its people. The ancient Egyptians worshipped a vast array of gods and goddesses who played a central role in maintaining cosmic harmony. Deities like Ra, the sun god, and Nut, the sky goddess, were integral to their understanding of the world. The Ennead, a group of 9 deities, was central to one of their most prominent creation myths. The Greeks and later the Romans developed intricate pantheons with gods and goddesses who personified human traits and natural forces. Zeus, Jupiter in Rome, reigned as the king of the gods, while others like Athena, Minerva, goddess of wisdom, and Ares, Mars, god of war, held specific domains. These deities were not distant figures, but were actively involved in the lives of mortals, influencing everything from politics to personal fortunes. Across Europe, Celtic and Germanic peoples practiced forms of nature worship, venerating deities tied to the landscape and the sky. Though fewer written records survive, archaeological evidence and later accounts point to a rich spiritual life interwoven with the natural world. The rise of Christianity within the Roman Empire marked a dramatic turning point for pagan traditions. The term pagan itself originates from the Latin paganus, meaning country dweller, a term used by early Christians to describe those in rural areas who held onto older beliefs. In the late 4th century CE, Emperor Theodosius I issued a series of edicts that effectively criminalized pagan worship. These laws prohibited public rituals, ordered the closure and destruction of temples, and withdrew state funding for traditional practices. The famous Serapeum in Alexandria was destroyed during this period, and the eternal fire in the Temple of Vesta was extinguished. Despite this suppression, many pagan customs did not disappear entirely, but were instead absorbed into the rising Christian tradition in a process known as syncretism. For example, the celebration of Christmas on December 25th is widely believed to have been chosen to coincide with the Roman festival of Sol Invictus, the unconquered sun. Similarly, many pre-Christian holy sites were repurposed for Christian worship, and local deities were sometimes transformed into Christian saints. For centuries, paganism lay dormant as a formal religious system in Europe. However, a renewed interest in the classical world during the Renaissance brought Greco-Roman mythology back into the cultural forefront. Artists and thinkers of the era drew inspiration from these ancient stories, using them to explore profound themes about humanity and nature. Later, the Romantic movement of the late 18th and 19th centuries saw a resurgence of interest in folklore and native traditions as a source of national identity and spiritual authenticity. This period saw the collection of fairy tales and folk ballads, which were seen as remnants of a pre-Christian past. The 20th century witnessed the emergence of modern paganism, or neo-paganism, a diverse array of new religious movements inspired by pre-Christian beliefs. One of the most influential of these was Wicca, a religion developed in England in the mid-20th century by Gerald Gardner. Gardner claimed to have been initiated into a surviving coven of witches and went on to popularize a nature-based religion that honors a god and a goddess. Wicca is just one of many paths within the broader neo-pagan movement. Other traditions include Druidry, inspired by the ancient Celtic priesthoods, and heathenry, a revival of the pre-Christian religions of the Germanic peoples. These modern traditions are diverse, with some seeking to reconstruct ancient practices as accurately as possible, while others are more eclectic in their approach. Modern paganism is generally characterized by a reverence for nature, and many followers see their path as an earth religion. Today, paganism is a vibrant and growing spiritual movement with a global presence. It is a decentralized religion with a wide variety of beliefs and practices. often emphasizing personal experience and connection to the divine in nature. Goddess worship is central to many pagan traditions, and most pagans believe in some form of reincarnation. The legacy of ancient paganism can still be seen in many aspects of modern Western culture, from the names of our days of the week to the customs associated with holidays like Easter and Christmas. The ancient impulse to find the sacred in the natural world continues to resonate, reminding us of a long and complex spiritual heritage that continues to evolve.